Mariam, what does she want to do?
Securing Nigeria's future and the roadmap to a new Nigeria are the title of the two-document manifesto as published by APC prior to the 2015 presidential election. And this document has been legal binding since they're coming into power. Hello, welcome to Politics in Brief. I am Christiana Olayemi. Today we'll be talking about the achievements and the shortcomings of the ruling party led by President Muhammadu Buhari. And in the studio with me to talk about this topic is a political guru all the way from the city of Abeokuta, Mr. Ibrahim Amosu, aka Ibrolism. Hello, Ibrahim. Welcome to Play TV.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here.
Quickly, I want to ask you this question. We all know already that the manifesto of APC has been legal binding since they came into power since 2015. My question to you now is, what are their achievements so far since 2015 till date?
Thank you very much for having me. Although I'm not a politician, but I'm a political analyst. And I believe we are all Nigerian. We all had what the party promised during the 2015 general election. I think the major promise they made during the campaign was fighting corruption, fighting insecurity, and revamping the economy. And there are some things we cannot deny that the present regime has really done. Before the advent of this regime, about 85 local governments of about 85 local governments were under the control of Boko Haram, where we used to have several killings, bombing, and a lot of things. A lot of police stations, federal government and state government agency offices could, need to close down. But as we are talking now, the army led by Burantai has really done very much in this aspect, and you are also much aware about the IDPs we have in various neighboring states, and even in Abuja. They have all relocated back to their cities, and they are going about with their day-to-day activities. That is the first aspect of it, that when we're talking about the fighting the security of the killings of Boko Haram and everything, they have really achieved that. And if you can also remember, in one of the letter the Rifa Baba Obasanjo wrote to the president, he also confirmed the fact that he has really perform in terms of that, rolling Boko Haram back to where they belong to. And the second one is this: there's no we will be talking about economy, we will not be talking about how we find ourselves in that mess. Before the advent of this regime, about 26 states could not even pay salaries of their workers. Osun, Kogi, Benue, even some oil producing states could not even pay their worker salary. Even in some part of Southwest, there are some other governments who could not even meet up with their monthly financial obligations. And when this government came into power, they have really gave them the bailout via the intervention fund, and a lot of these states are paying their salary as at when due. They are paying their salary as at when due. And if you can also remember, the Paris Club loan reform to the state are also part of what the government has done to really help those states out of the financial crisis they find themselves. And another something I want you to know, that when this government was coming to power, the price of crude oil at the international market was as low as between $30 to $35 per barrel, which was the lowest, as far as the Nigerian this thing is concerned. And despite the fact that this regime met a very little income, they need to minimize the cost and try to do everything humanly possible to really make sure that they utilize the limited resources they have. And you are much aware about the TSA, and although the TSA was a policy introduced by the previous government, but the last government does not have the political will to implement that TSA.
Sorry, I'll cut you there. You said the amount of money we have, the government has recovered is tremendous. My question now is, if we have such tremendous amount of money that has been recovered here, we keep hearing we've recovered this, and what has been the impact of this money in the lives of individuals? Because truthfully, most Nigerians are not smiling.
Yeah, it is quite unfortunate that a lot of Nigerians are expecting miracle from this current government. First, we have to acknowledge the fact that for a looter to even accept to even return the money back to the government, it shows some seriousness on the part of government. And two, the question about what are the contribution or the effect of those money recovered from the looters to the government. If you can recall that in 2017 budget, when the government was presenting the budget to the National Assembly, and there are a lot of information about the budget to the social media and other medias, there is a percentage of amount of money in that budget that the recovered loot will be used to finance 2017 budget. If you can remember, we are still have budget deficit in 2017. Are you getting me? So if the government find itself in a situation whereby they are in damn need of money to really execute a lot of projects, and if you can't also forget that when a stolen property is recovered, you cannot have access to your property immediately. There are some procedure it has to follow before you can even have access to claim those property back. But the one the government has really claimed back, it has been used part of 2017 budget. These are the things that are in public domain, but it is quite unfortunate.
Sorry, I'll cut you short there. The reason being that I think it's such a relief that a Nigerian has some things positive to say about the achievements of this present dispensation. Quickly, what do you think are their shortcomings? I see you as someone, I think you have lots of, a good thing coming out from the government, but I want to believe that you've seen some shortcomings from them. What do you think they are?
One, the first thing I would say is this: the president wouldn't have allowed the Nigerian economy to go to recess. That's the first something. When he came in, the IMF and World Bank representatives sent their delegate to him that with the amount of dollars and money stolen from this economy will never survive without borrowing money. And the president was like, due to the reason best known to him, that he was not ready to borrow any money, that majority of the money we have been borrowing from these people, can we really say these are the impact of those loans? And he said he was not ready to borrow money, and that was the reason why we find ourselves in the recession. Give it to them. They, putting the necessary measure in place to really make sure that Nigeria move out of the recession at the necessary time, when we still have other countries who are still battling with their recession. So we have to give it to them in that aspect. Another something is the political will of Mr. President. There are some things you can't say you want to be fair enough. There are some issues you don't leave for nation to take its course. Like during the election of National Assembly, when the president was saying that he belonged to everybody and belonged to nobody. Are you getting me? And as a sitting president who really wants your bills and budget to have a smooth passage, you allow someone to just hijack the leadership of the National Assembly from you. And that has been one of the reasons why the president finds it very difficult to have most of his policy approved or passed by the National Assembly.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
All right. So I want to take you back to some of the promises they made in the manifesto. We know some of the important segments, sectors in the country rather, are education and health. Under education, some of the promises were, if you're studying strictly education in the tertiary institution, is going to be free. If you're studying engineering sciences, it's going to be free. Okay. Then come to the health, which is also a very important sector in the economy. He said something that's under himself, under the document of roadmap to a new Nigeria. One of the promises there was that he's going to stop every expense of any of the government that are going to travel abroad for medicals. is going to make sure that there is an upgrade in all of the federal hospitals in the country. So we both know that last year, like 3 months or thereabout, he was outside the country for medicals. How can you just oppose his promise to make the health section improve before the year 2019, and the same person who promised had to jet out of the country for his health, and the same first family of the country, the son had an accident and the next thing was, jet him out to Germany? How can you just oppose that?
Although I'm not speaking for the president and I'm not speaking for the party, but President son taken from Nigeria to Germany was even part of the evil the social media has really done to us. The president's son was treated in one of the hospitals in Abuja, and I think there was a form of what's it called, to that effect, to even show that the president's son was treated in Nigeria. And back to the issue of the president need to leave Nigeria for medical trip in in UK. Anyway, I am not also speaking for president. I don't know the reason why he has to, leave Nigeria to go and take medical, what's it called, in abroad. But if you two can remember what the first lady and the Sarah, the daughter of to president, was saying, that there was no, is it syringe or what they call it, in Aso Rock hospital. So if, you are having an issue with malaria and you cannot even find the medication in Aso Rock hospital, do you think with the kind of element the president had, do you think it would be, reasonable for him to stay in that mortuary called hospital? So anyway, I am not talking for him.
No, sir, please, I need you to actually, because we are looking at the achievements, we're looking at the shortcomings. I mean, if a president can say he's going to upgrade the federal hospitals to be, of standard, and he talked about if the federal government is not going to finance any government that is going to go out of the country for medical bills. I mean, my question is, how can you just oppose it? Like, I don't want to,
I really understand what I understand.
Or you think it's justifiable because the Aso Rock does not have the, ordinary syringe or medications for malaria?
Anyway, you said it all. And the statement even came out from the first lady to the, and if the hospital in Aso Rock cannot even have the needed drug to treat malaria, it will not be reasonable for any person to even
stay. Even Mr. President to stay even after his promise to Nigeria.
And you shouldn't also forget the fact that from 2015-16 even to 17, we have been having what's they call it budget deficit. Even look at the infrastructure they are even trying to build, Lagos, Ibadan, and some other things. They are still having issue they need to go and raise bond to borrow money and some other things to really meet up with those, fixing those infrastructure. Okay. Back to the education you're talking about. If you can remember very well that there was an ASU strike and there was an agreement, MOU, between Obasanjo regime with ASU, saying that they are going to pay this, pay that. And if you can remember very well that this regime, despite the fact that they are having issue with a fund, this regime has, fulfilled part of the promise Obasanjo made by, with ASU. It, shows that the president is a little bit sincere in terms of fulfilling part of his promises. Okay, so what you're now saying is because when you go through the documents, we have like more than 41. So of all that you said, I can basically count just the insecurity, the you talked about a part of a little fragment of the education system. No, something is really getting the manifesto. So based on that, sir, based on all you've said, if you're going to rate them between 1 to 10, what are you going to rate this present regime? Their performance level? To me, you are talking about 41 promises, and I think they put everything in 3 aspects: insecurity, corruption, and revamping the what's it called, economy. The economy. Are you getting me? Okay. To me, I think we can still give the present regime about 55%.
No,
because
I'm talking between a 1 to 10.
okay, 1 to 10.
Between a 1 to 10.
Let me give this current regime 6.
Okay, so you're giving them 6. In essence, if the president is going to come out, if he decides to come out for a rerun in 2019, I need to know, are you going to...
That is my personal decision.
That's your personal decision?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So from you now, you're giving him a 6/10 out of all that you have mentioned. Well, viewers at home, you've heard all is said. According to Mr. Ibrahim Amosu, he has been magnanimous enough to give this present regime a 6/10 out of their performance. I know you have your own reservations and, well, whatever it is, we'll see when it comes to 2019. Mr. Ibrahim Amosu, I want to say a big thank you for coming into play today. Yeah. It's been so wonderful having you around.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Well, you've heard it. The achievements and the shortcomings from one of the political guru. Yes. Like I said, I know you have your own opinion too on this, and whatever it is, I hope someday you'll be able to air it, yes. And come 2019, if this present dispensation has been wonderful enough, Nigerians, of course, will speak their mind. Thank you so much for watching. I will come your way again next time. Stay tuned to this channel. I remain Christiana Olayemi. Bye.
Mariam, what they say when you do